Professional wrestling is not just a mere form of entertainment. It represents a unique blend of athleticism, storytelling, and showmanship that captivates audiences worldwide. The value of professional wrestling cannot be understated, as it offers an unparalleled form of escapism and excitement for millions of fans. From the larger-than-life characters to the high-flying maneuvers executed inside the ring, each match delivers an adrenaline rush that transports spectators to an extraordinary world where imagination reigns supreme. Moreover, professional wrestling provides an empowering platform for diverse performers to showcase their talents and break societal barriers. Whether it is cheering for your favorite hero or passionately rooting against a villain, professional wrestling creates a sense of unity among its passionate fan base. It brings people together from different walks of life to collectively experience joy, heartache, and triumph in unison. Thus, the value of professional wrestling lies not only in its ability to entertain, but also in its remarkable capacity to inspire and unite people across the globe. Welcome to the weekly Roundup podcast, hosted by Tyme and Paulus Clarke, presented by The Value of Wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Value of Wrestling, where we vow to put the value back in wrestling. And we are here with another weekly Roundup, episode number 3. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. I'm the Tyme. This is my tag partner,
Paulus Clarke.
and we're here to review the week in wrestling. And this week it was, I don't know what this week was. It's ending on the 12th, so it's August 12th at the time of recording this. When it gets up, no promises, no guarantees, but we will get there. Anyway, so we thank you for joining us. We want to make sure while you're here, first thing we need to take care of is some business, some house cleaning. Let's go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Please definitely go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We'll give you a second here. Thank you. Thank you. I can't do it like him. He's too good at it. Chad Gable's amazing. Thank you. Anyways, now go ahead and hit that bell for notifications, because you want to always be notified when we got new programs. I just got done recording another Big Time Rants, which will come up on YouTube here at some point. So you definitely want to make sure the bell's ring so the notifications are coming and you know when new programs and new stuff's coming out. We've talked, we're brainstorming. We want to put a bunch of new content out here. So you never know when we may pop up with a new episode or a real quick, we might do something that's on a flash news or breaking news or whatever might come out. So you definitely want to have that notification ring so you know what's going on. So make sure you like the video. That's the other thing. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up, because you're going to help us. Then go ahead and make sure you share this with all your family, friends, anybody that you know is into wrestling. Go ahead and get it out there, because we want to grow this channel. We want to blow it up, and we need your help to do that. So that's how you can be a part of the value of wrestling. That's how you can put your vow into the value of wrestling. Anyways, what else? Oh, yes, we got to talk about over there on Spotify, our tag partner, our third member of the team at this current time, Mr. Miguel, doing the Spotify thing. Yes, if you're over there on Spotify, you can find Miguel Value Wrestling on Spotify, where he covers everything New Japan Pro Wrestling. Again, if you're a big old fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling, jump over there on Spotify. Miguel's going to break it all down and let you know what's going on in New Japan Pro Wrestling. If you're a lukewarm fan, you know a little bit, you're really getting to know some of it because of AEW, go ahead and do that too. And if you're new, if you're kind of like me, that's kind of like, I know names, but I don't know a whole lot, again, go over there, join Miguel, Spotify, Value of Wrestling, get to cover everything about New Japan Wrestling, let you know what's going on, and it's going to be a great show. He's got a couple of shows up on there too, so there's stuff there. If you haven't got caught up, go ahead and get over there and get caught up. If you haven't got caught up here, this is our third episode, our third weekly roundup, so we have two prior to this. Big Time Rants recently came out with episode 1, all about the bloodline. Episode 2 will be up, and it's all about the devils and the details, but I'm not going to tell you any more about that. I'm going to let you wait until that comes up on the air. Mr. Clarke, how are you doing, sir?
Doing all right. Had a great time watching the programs this week, and we'll get into it.
Awesome. Yes, and we have to go over some stuff because we got so much coming up. We have tomorrow, 2 weeks from tomorrow, is AEW's All In, and a week from that is All Out. So there's a lot there. And in WWE, so we're going to have AEW All In, on the 27th on Sunday, and then on the 2nd of September is WWE Payback, and then on September 3rd is AEW All Out. And in their TNA, or not TNA, excuse me, sorry, they're always going to be TNA, it's just a bad habit. Impact has a pay-per-view on the 27th, so you can watch AEW because they're going to be, at least here, it's going to be on at 10 o'clock. I think that's 1 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific. So you can watch that, and then at nighttime when Impact does their show, you can also watch that. 2 pay-per-views in one night. A whole new world of wrestling that we've never seen. Of course, WWE moving their pay-per-view or their premium live events to Saturday is a whole new world. I know when we were younger, we were always like, could they just put it on Saturday? Then it would work out for our lives better. Anywho, anyways, so I guess we'll get into it. So I guess we'll start with the really good fallout come out of SummerSlam show. Raw really brought it this week. Raw was a really, really good Raw, which we haven't seen in a while. Well, Raw was really, really good, I thought. I thought Raw really brought what it needed to bring. I mean, it wasn't a perfect show. It wasn't a great show. Definitely didn't feel a lot of the Vince McMahon hands in there, so hopefully we're getting a lot more Triple H. But there's some news with Triple H and his status with WWE. What's going on with that? I don't know, but we'll get into that momentarily here. But anyways, let's talk about Raw. So we opened Raw, and it did scare me. It did jump. It did stop me and make me go, oh, son of a biscuit cow, to start off with. Because we got Cody coming out. Cody celebrating. He said he felt like he could beat anybody. And guess who comes down? None other than Seth freaking Rollins. And Seth Rollins, of course, is going on about, oh, you feel like you could beat anybody? You know, how about? And, I was like, no, this isn't good. On so many... Cody doesn't. It just doesn't feel right, and Cody can't lose right now, and Seth Rollins just couldn't lose. What would that be? Match number 4 if they were even considering doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like, no, please tell me there's something here because it doesn't. No. Anyways, of course, what did we get? We got Judgment Day, who came down and demanded that they were telling Seth and Cody that they didn't get to create matches, that they ran the show. And, of course, that led into back and forth. Eventually, Sami Zayn came down. And then Cody Rhodes basically said, how about you three, meaning Finn Balor, Mr. or no, what is it? Not Mr. Money in the Bank. Senor Money in the Bank. And somebody bring the man a bar of soap, Dirty Dom, against Cody Rhodes, Seth freaking Rollins, and Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn, again, playing peacemaker, trying to get Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes on the same. Well, I guess you can't say getting Cody and Seth. Cody was already willing to get on the same page with Seth, kind of getting Seth to agree to get in there. I thought it was a really good open to the show. Anything you want to add to that, other than basically what it was?
Let's be honest. This is the first time you were ever happy to see Dirty Dom break up a segment.
True. It's true.
Because like, you knew they had the tease, Cody and Seth, but you didn't actually want to see it.
No. That was what scared me there for a second. I'm like, this didn't feel the way it would. It just didn't feel like this is the way we needed to go with everything at this time. That is for sure. Luckily, we got that breakup, and we got a 6-man tag for the main event, which there's a lot of stuff in there. So. Anyways, then we moved into a great the 4-man for the Intercontinental title match, or they were going to get the shot at Gunther. We had Chad Gable, Ricochet, Matt Riddle, and Tommaso Ciampa. And I was like, this is actually kind of a good thing. I can see any of these men winning it. There were 3 in there particularly I would have been more excited about than one. Unfortunately, if you're here or listen, I'm not a diehard fan of the Matt Riddle we have right now. Just because I know Riddle can do so much more, and I just feel like Riddle's just a wasted talent that they don't know what to do with. He's kind of like an RVD version 2.0 type. He's not. He doesn't do anything for me. I don't like the character. I don't like what they've done with him, and I think he could do so much more. So I'm not a big fan of Riddle, but I would have been understanding with Riddle in this match. So we get a 4-way dance, and I don't know where people would have put their money. I guess people would have probably, going into the match, I probably would have looked at Riddle or Ricochet as the favorites just because of WWE's pattern, but WWE actually did something shocking. they went in a whole different direction than I think anybody would have thought going into this match. I don't think anybody. Well, maybe I'm sure there's somebody out there who's going to go, no, I predicted it. I said it would happen. But Chad Gable came out the winner, and I'm very, very happy. Of course, it does kind of make sense. They've had Gable and Gunther kind of having that moment. But you never trust WWE, but I'm happy. I'm glad to see Gable getting pushed into this place against Gunther. Your thoughts?
I think right now Alpha Academy is hitting on all cylinders, whether you're talking Chad Gable, whether you're talking about Otis, or even Maxine of all people.
No, and it's her coming over from the Maximum Male Models and now being a part of Alpha Academy. It's her character's grown and become more digestible than it originally was. So I'm happy with that, and I'm happy they're going to do something with Gable maybe outside of the tag team ranks. And this really feels like an opportunity that maybe Gable will be the one to dethrone Gunther. I think Gunther will be at the. I forget when they said this match was going to happen. I didn't notate that, but I know Gunther's real close to beating Honky Tonk Man. I think that's what everybody's going to do, and I'm hoping that that'll be it, and then he'll lose the title. And I think Gable would be a great guy to take that title off of Gunther. I think it makes really good sense. I think it elevates Chad Gable to being taken more seriously, where he definitely deserves to be. And it gets Gunther ready for the next step, and I think Gunther's next step is a world title or the main event. He's definitely in the right place. I think him and Seth Rollins sometime, I think Rumble or even in WrestleMania, I think if Seth Rollins Gunther, if Seth Rollins still holds on to the title at that point, would be a great WrestleMania match. I think somewhere in there. I think Gunther is real close to getting crowned a world champion. And I will go with the world champion. It's probably what he will get claimed as at this point. Now, it depends. Things can happen at any point. But anyways, Gable gets the win. We're going to get Gable Gunther. From there, we ran into the Nakamura Bronson Reed match. Shinsuke Nakamura took out Bronson Reed. Kind of continuing a feud that's been going on between Nakamura, Bronson Reed, and Tommaso Ciampa. Nakamura won. Kind of a throwaway.
Okay.
And then we got Becky Lynch in the ring talking about Trish, and then Stark comes out. I can't remember Stark's first name. Excuse me. Zoe Stark. Zoe Stark comes out and gets into the middle of it. And then we get Shayna Baszler to get involved in the middle of this. And we wound up getting a Shayna Baszler Zoe Stark match, which was a good match. Baszler going over. I guess I didn't catch why Becky Lynch was drinking lemonade at ringside, but really good match. Got Baszler even more over, making Baszler more serious, and definitely interested in what they're doing with Baszler again, which is great. So hopefully they keep it on that pathway, and we get to see what happens. Then after that, we got Ludwig Kaiser versus Otis. A good match.
Oh, even before the match, though, the little backstage vignette with Maxine.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about how he's got European, finesse.
Oh, yes.
Not the exact words,
but
but
came together because Ludwig Kaiser was trying to make the move on Maxine, and Otis wasn't happy. Otis and his blondes, I don't know, Anyways, Ludwig beats Otis, which is finally nice because Ludwig really needed a win. Ludwig has kind of been a joke and was worrying me because I'm like, are we going to have is Imperium going to fall apart because Ludwig's losing? They've done a lot with this Ludwig losing, but Ludwig winning over Otis. Otis really didn't need the win. Ludwig did for sure, so it was probably the right move here. And this will continue a storyline probably with Imperium and Alpha Academy. And then we got, what a great night for promos. The Miz brought it. The Miz was shooting his promo, and then we got LA Knight, and The Miz back and forth. After I saw that Battle Royal at SummerSlam, yes.
The Slam Jam Battle Royal.
I knew I wanted to see Knight and Miz because they're both going to give it all in the ring, but their promo skills, this is what they were going to say to one another. This is going to be entertaining. And so it's going to be interesting to see Knight and Miz build to, I guess, Payback. But that should be a really good match, a really good build, and they're really setting LA Knight in a direction to take off. So from there, we got the surprise. The Viking Raiders come down to the ring, and of course, this, was it Wade Barrett now that he's on Raw? Said these were the Viking side didn't see this coming because we had the return of the New Day in the form of Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, who beat over the Viking Raiders. And sadly, it seems like every time we get some build behind the Viking Raiders, they just go on a losing streak. So. Yes, the New Day coming back was great. Wish it would have been about against the Viking Raiders. Couldn't have been. I mean, could they not brought back Maximum Male Models for one night? I know Mansoor and Mice, and I don't know how to say it. Mason Mansoor. Mace and Mansoor. Whatever. I know they're repackaging, they're off, and they're doing whatever, but I wish it would have been the Viking Raiders. I like the Viking Raiders. I think they're a good team. It's just they need to do something with them. And especially since they brought Valhalla in, or Sarah Logan. But, it's like you created this thing, let's do something. And for a minute there, it looked like they were doing something, and then it just like, yeah. So, New Day.
A lot of people who have no idea what War Machine could do, now known as the Viking Raiders. Like, you have to go back to Ring of Honor. You have to, like, oh, come on. Or even New Japan, for that fact. So much talent in the world. I just wish they would do, like you said, do something with them.
Yes.
And maintain it.
Oh, yes. Exactly.
Not give us that little carrot and then drop.
And then, in the backstage, we had a vignette with Finn Balor talking with J.D. McDonough. I always want to say McDonough or McDonald or whatever. McDonough. And that eventually led to J.D. McDonough attacking Sami Zayn. So, Sami Zayn was injured in the back, and with him out, we got a vignette with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins kind of bickering back and forth. Eventually, Nakamura walks up and goes, "I'll be your partner." Seth Rollins actually, for once, kind of being reluctant, going, "Okay, I respect you, Nakamura. Yeah, you can be our replacement for Sami Zayn." So then we got the triple threat, or the six-man match. We got Rhodes, Rollins, and Nakamura against Judgment Day, with Rhodes, Rollins, and Nakamura winning that match, chasing out Judgment Day. All three men are celebrating in the ring, and suddenly this slow sizzle of a turn that it's been teased, and we were kind of like, is something going to happen there? And yes, it finally happened. Nakamura with a Kinshasa to Seth freaking Rollins, and now we kind of see who's next for Seth Rollins, which is actually I was happy to see that in the end, that it was Nakamura turning on Seth Rollins. Hopefully this will give a new taste of Nakamura again. He's kind of gotten stagnant, and at least he's going into a main event feud with Seth Rollins, something we haven't seen. Which brings me back to the fact it really felt like a Triple H show, which was a really nice show, because Seth Rollins and Nakamura was something we haven't seen, and we're finally moving maybe in a new direction. So, Payback looking to build up quite well, at least from the Raw show so far.
As long as they don't do what they did with Nakamura and AJ Styles, where it was all about hitting them in the balls and just the cheap way out. Like, give us the good matches we know they're capable of.
Yeah.
It'll be great. Like, the potential is all there. They just they pull the trigger by having the turn. Now they got to maintain it.
Well, I don't think we have a Vince running this one, so hopefully we're doing better. So that was Raw. Raw, very good show this week. I was very happy with it coming out of SummerSlam. So, anyways, anything else you want to add to that before I move to our next night of wrestling?
Go ahead.
Now, if you all want us to cover NXT, drop comments down there. Tell us you're fans of NXT. We might get NXT. They just had a pay-per-view event, so it's kind of a fresh start, so we could get NXT. We just haven't really been big fans of NXT. We kind of get in there hit and miss, So
yeah, we've been in and out.
If you guys want to know about NXT, want us to do an NXT review, let us know. We can, throw that in here too. But anyways, we're going to jump Tuesdays. We're going to get into Wednesday night and Dynamite, which a lot of people have a lot of different opinions about Dynamite. I thought that Dynamite was a decent show. I think Raw was a little better this week than Dynamite, but it was Dynamite. There were some really good moments, but there were some other that I was kind of, nah. It really didn't do it for me. First, we got the opening segment, which is kind of a weird opening. I get it. You basically had the whole breakup of JAS. You had Daniel Garcia abandoned Jericho after he did his little stupid dance. And I don't know if AEW is a wrestling company or a dancing company after everything tonight, too. I just, Village People and dance-offs, and I'm just like, I thought I was tuning into pro wrestling, and sometimes it's just, and Daniel Garcia, I get it. I guess it gets over, but it's just a little, I don't know. Of course, I watched another one of the IWC people do the dance. I think it was Wrestle Cultural or Wrestle Cult that was doing. I don't know. It was. I guess it's getting over. So we saw Daniel Garcia walk out. We saw. I guess next would have been the females. We saw
Anna Jay and
Tay.
Yeah, Ty Conte.
They walked out. Then Cool Hand Luke and
Daddy Magic.
Yeah, Daddy Magic. They walked out, and then we had Chris Jericho left with Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara kind of was like, figure out your crap. I'm still here, but I'm going to go do my thing. And that was the end of JAS. And it was a segment, but I'm like, I don't, did we really need this big... I don't know. It just kind of felt like unnecessary, but I don't know.
For the sake of the story, it's kind of like, I get it, but by the same token, I understand why you're not as enthused either.
I get it, but it didn't feel like a good segment. Like, it didn't really, they all whined and cried about, Jericho, and I'm just like, it didn't do anything. Like, it didn't progress anything one way or another. It just kind of like, we're going to go. Which is, we forgot Jake Hager was there. Yes, Jake Hager walked out on Jericho because he liked that hat. That was, he was unhappy because he liked that hat. Anyways, then we got to a match that a lot of people are praising that I was kind of like, We got the Hardys versus the Bucks. Of course, the Bucks won this match. It was an okay match. I mean, it was a Dynamite level match. It wasn't a horrible match. Matt Hardy looked really good. The Bucks looked decent. Jeff kind of, I guess it's really hard sometimes when you've seen somebody from the days and know what they're capable of, and then when you see them really just kind of slowing down, and you look at Matt and Jeff and you can just see how old they are, and it's just like it's kind of a full circle thing. Now they're the big, guys that are at the end when the Hardy Boys came into WWE, and they were the little guys that were trying to make a name for themselves. Except the Bucks have already made a name for themselves, so it's not exactly the same, but it was just kind of Jeff didn't impress me, but a lot of people are like, Jeff Hardy looked great. Jeff Hardy looked amazing. Jeff Hardy was just on point. And I'm just like, did I watch a different match? It's just, it didn't do anything for me. Matt looked good. I mean, Matt was pulling off stuff, but Jeff just seemed kind of out of sync. The Young Bucks seemed out. It was just kind of, at least they did it on Dynamite, not try to sell it as a pay-per-view match per se, but it's I lived through it. Not my favorite match. Not. I don't know what to say about it. I didn't think it's great, but there's all these other people out here like praising it, like, "Oh, Jeff Hardy is doing so amazing." I'm just like, I guess I'm just one that looks at, okay, this is where he was and this is where he is, and they're not the same. So,
I mean, if you really want to see the Young Bucks and the Hardys, you have to go back to their their ROH match before they came back for WrestleMania.
Yeah, Jeff doesn't look it. And Matt can do it. Matt doesn't look great. But
Matt's also more grounded, so he can kind of still do what he's always done.
He's gotten a little chubby, but he still makes it look decent in his movements. Jeff trying to do what he used to do with the body he has, and it doesn't work for him. After that, then we got the Jack Perry versus RVD match. And of course, Jack Perry.
And even before we get into that match, just looking at Jack Perry, we've both said that we don't feel like his music fits his character. But I'm starting to wonder if that's the entire point. That even for the internet fans to be pissed off, like, this doesn't fit. How, just to be irritated with the whole concept of Jack Perry having this classical music-esque music.
If that's what somebody, Tony Khan or whoever decided that wants to sell on, cool. But I guess you can say it gets him over as a heel, or gets the heat on him because his music sucks. I don't dislike him because I don't know why I don't really dislike him. I think Jack Perry's good. I like him being a heel. Honestly, I want to see what he can do with it. I just feel that where he is right now and the music and nothing that's like, it's not bringing him forward. He's just kind of like, it seems like they don't know what to do with him. I know he's one of Tony Khan's favorite boys.
I understand that feeling.
It just doesn't. I don't feel like they know what to do with him, and they've kind of got him in this weird storyline that I don't know where it's going to go. And then the music just doesn't really fit to this, who this character is, and it doesn't even feel like this character has a character. He's just Jack Perry heel, and it's just like, yeah. RVD, everybody praised RVD. I guess the whole locker room in AEW was saying RVD great, and they're talking about trying to keep RVD around. And I'm just like, again, another match where I was like, RVD did some of his sticks, but if you really paid attention, his sticks were not. He progressively got a little better. I will say that, but I mean, he just some of his moves were slow. It's like at the age and the body you have, he can't still do the stuff he did, and it just you could tell. I don't know. People loved it, and there was so much praise. They want RVD to stay around, and I'm just like, I love nostalgia in a sense, but I guess I don't know if it's the ECW nostalgia has overran it, because it's like every Fed that can get an opportunity to do an ECW thing, it does it, and it's just like, right. Okay. Of course, the last time I saw RVD was in Impact, and that was really just like, I was like, what the hell had RVD came? And then we saw him at the Hall of Fame, which was nice, and it's just kind of like, a one-off. I'll live with it. If he comes back, I don't know. I don't know what he can do for anybody. I mean, he can have matches and get a pop, but other than that, I don't think there's any huge advantages to an RVD being on an already blown up, heavy roster. It's just like another name that's taking another space. That I don't know if that's.
I don't know. It's like, obviously it wasn't the greatest match or anything, but he did pull some kind of, I don't want to say excitement. I don't know. I thought he did better than I was expecting him to do. Because, like I said, we saw him at the Hall of Fame. Dude looked, a little more chubbier. He wasn't the RVD of old, which is understandable.
Yeah.
He was a little bit slimmer when we saw him finally in his tights than what I expected, and he, like I said, he was slower in the match, but he could more or less still do, what he could do.
He was better than Jeff. I'll give him that.
Absolutely. So I was surprised that the match was as good as it was, even if it wasn't the greatest thing in the world.
Well, and I think the cheap roll-up, I get that Jack Perry's supposed to be the heel, but the cheap roll-up with the trunks, it's just like, can you not give Jack... I mean, it's RVD. He's not been in the company. There's nothing for him to gain. Why couldn't they at least give him a clean win over RVD and kind of build this heel character a little more than... I get the heel has to hold the tights, but sometimes it's like, in this moment, I think just a clean victory would have been better than...
A clean victory with a mistake on, like how RVD...
Yeah. I'm like, you need to make Jack Perry look more serious, and nothing you're doing really makes him, I'm like, you guys really need to get Hook back involved in this. We haven't heard from Hook. I mean, I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. I'm just like, Hook needs to get back involved in this and get the title back. We hear Taz getting pissed off, and I'm worried if they're going to do something with Taz getting in the ring, and I'm like...
No, vocally maybe, promo maybe, but you will not see him in the ring. Have you seen what that dude looks like now?
Yeah. I don't know, but he's over there in the corner getting pissed off about it all. And I'm just like, some point Taz is going to have his conversation with Jack Perry. Whether that brings back Hook, whether that's at an all-in match, which I hope it'll be. Because, I mean, really, Jack Perry with the FTW title doesn't do any good. The only person that really makes that title worth anything is Hook.
Well, the thing is, I don't mind Jack Perry with the title itself, within itself.
Yeah.
But they have to figure out something good for him. They have to execute it well.
I just assume it's going to go back to Hook.
I agree.
That's just where I see it. I'm assuming it.
That's the long game, sure.
All in, it's going to go back to Hook.
But the here and now is what's going to build him, if they actually execute well.
Well, he needs to get through Hook, and I don't think this Hook and him story needs to be a long-term story, but they need to do something. Like they're doing in our next segment, where we had MJF and Adam Cole. They came down to the ring. MJF and his the devil's here and his devil people, whatever he calls them.
Devil worshippers.
Yeah, this is devil worshippers. Which I talked
For a
about
Jewish
that.
guy, that's kind of funny to hear.
Oh, it's hilarious. Well, the devil in the details. There's a lot of rumors, and I do go over that in my program. But anywho, so we get this back and forth. Adam Cole comes out and says, you know what he wants to do? He wants to be Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion. He's done a lot. So he's asked MJF to join him in a match on the 0 hour. It's 0 hour, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's basically their pre-show.
No, I know.
Yes.
I know it's a pre-show. I was just trying to remember the name. So 0 hour, which is the pre-show to All In, we have a match. It's going to be MJF and Adam Cole versus the Aussie Open for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. So, that's interesting. And I kind of talk about it in my Blitz. I don't know where that's going to go. Now, the speculation is this is where they're going to go in this match, and this is where the friction's going to start, so when they go to the main event. I don't know if that's true. I know a lot of people are speculating it, but I don't know if that's true. I think Adam Cole and MJF may win the Ring of Honor tag titles. I think the MJF Adam Cole storyline may go on a little longer. I think there's a lot there, and I don't want to give away too many spoilers. But anyways, with that said, that led into a segment that I'll give Roderick Strong or Roddy Strong, whatever they want to call him, the Oscar of the night, because this man did, and they said it. He came out crying like the broken-hearted ex-girlfriend that had been abandoned and neglected, and it was like, what about me? Roderick Strong came out, and he was like, what do you mean you want to win the titles with him? You don't want to win the titles with me. I mean, he played this whole, like, broken-hearted, rejected friend, and of course, then, the Kingdom, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett came out.
Michael.
And they had Roderick Strong had to like cry into Matt Taven's shoulder. It was a great segment. I mean, he played that broken-hearted girlfriend. I mean, it was just like he was so devastated by the fact that Adam Cole was going to sign up with MJF. And then MJF kind of went off on Roderick Strong, and then Adam Cole's like, hey, that's my friend. They had a little beef. MJF looked like he was going to snap, but then he calmed himself down. Everything's good between Adam Cole and MJF. They went off to go ahead and double clothesline some other people somewhere in some place. Hopefully not in another trampoline park.
Oh.
And that was that.
Just the fact that they got the Kingdom involved, I thought was it's great long-term storytelling. Just because Adam Cole used to be a part of the Kingdom.
Yes. No, I get
how
to
many
make that
times-
connection. Now, there's a lot of speculation. Some of the rumors are that MJF may be behind the reason the Kingdom is here, that they're going to give MJF another faction to be a part of, and he's the one that's orchestrating this behind the Kingdom stuff. And to me, I'm going, the devil, and I hate some of this, I don't want to say, but the MJF character as the devil, that's the key. I think everybody needs to pay attention to MJF being the devil. That's what he's selling himself as right now. I don't think the devil needs a faction. Now, he can use people, but I don't think that's the way it needs to go. But it's interesting. We'll see. I know a lot of people are saying we're headed to a double turn. I fervently disagree. We're not going to get a double turn. MJF's not going to go face. I don't think MJF as a face is what this company needs right now. MJF is great. He's heel. He's over, but he's over as a heel. A babyface, I think he loses a lot of that momentum. Adam Cole going heel already again after coming back. I mean, it's just like, that's the only thing that I see Tony Khan doing sometimes is he'll turn one person, he'll turn a person, then he'll turn him back. A lot of people in AEW kind of have the Paul White syndrome where they get turned real quickly, and you're like, what?
You want a recent example? Ricky Starks.
Yes, heel, face, heel. So, you have to go watch my new program doing Big Time Rants, man, because I go over all the devil in the details. I really dive into this because I have a prediction that may be the way we're going to see this, and I'm telling you, the devil's in the details. MJF's the devil, so if you want to buy into that they're going to do a double switch, I think you're missing the details there. But we got a great promo, and then we ran into the Lucha Brothers versus the BCC, the Blackpool Combat Club, consisting of Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli. And of course, BCC wins. I don't think there was any fallout after that match, right? There was nothing. I don't recall anything happening after that. Then we had Darby Allin confronting Mogul Embassy, confronting Strickland and AR Fox. and they had a great promo back and forth, which eventually led to the lights going out and the return of Sting. And I heard some rumors that it was Joker Sting, but I didn't see anything.
No, it was just Sting.
Yeah, I didn't see anything that made Joker Sting. I heard a couple some rumors that
when
he came out and
Joker Sting, like, it's very obvious in his face paint.
Yeah.
You
so
know.
I was like, I looked at it and I studied it. I even had to go back and watch it. I'm like, I don't remember anything being like Joker Sting. But anyway, Sting is back, and we wound up getting a Darby Allin Sting versus Strickland and AR Fox in a coffin tag match. So that should be interesting. I think that's next week on Dynamite, which is going to be a Fight for the Fallen matchup. Yeah, that's a tongue twister. Anyways, and then we got a breakdown also at All In. We got another we got another match announced. So we know that MJF versus
Adam Cole.
Adam Cole for the AEW World Title. And then the Young Bucks, after they won their match against the Hardys, they said yes. Or the FTR came down and they agreed to a match. So the AEW World Tag Team titles, FTR versus the Young Bucks, will be going down for number 3 for the rubber match. So we will see what goes down there. And then we got the announcement of a AEW Women's Championship 4-way. And since Tony Khan is the former Women's Champion and using her rematch clause, which we didn't know AEW necessarily had rematch clauses, but anywho, Tony Storm automatically gets a bye into this 4-way dance at All In for the AEW World Championship. But Shida, the AEW Women's Champion, has to fight Anna Jay tonight, not only to retain her title, but to get into the match at All In, which I thought, and some people thought, like, how does the champion have to fight to get in when the ex-champion gets it? So anyway, so we got Shida versus Anna Jay. The other participants in this match was Britt Baker versus Bunny. Britt Baker was going to take on the Bunny. And then we had Saraya versus Sky Blue, and those were the matches. So all those matches, the winners get to get into this Women's Championship match. Shida beat Anna Jay, no problem. So we know Shida and Storm are in the match. We're all in for the Women's Championship match. Dynamite, decent show. I don't know if it did any greatness. I don't recall, other than the fact that we got the tag title match and the women's 4-way dance, which it was kind of weird. I don't think Dynamite was a great show moving forward with like at this time, maybe 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks. It didn't do a whole lot with the fact that Tony Khan doesn't only have All In it to be able to guys All Out. So I don't know.
That advertisement wouldn't even begin till Collision.
Yeah. So it was a decent show. It wasn't a great show. It was just a show. Made it through. That was that. So then we move into Friday.
And I completely missed Rampage. I did watch SmackDown, though.
Okay, so I'll cover Rampage real quick. So we had Rampage. We had Darby Allin again versus Brian Cage, who came out in Warlord paint, and Allin won with a roll-up pin, which led to Luchasaurus coming out and attacking Darby Allin. Some girl cried in the audience. They really focused on this girl cried in the audience, and I think it was Chris Jericho was on commentary going, "Look, he made that girl cry," which led to a Darby Allin challenging Christian Cage for a match, or was that tonight? Something it makes up. I think no, that was. I may have watched that earlier, but yeah, I think on the next week or whatever, we're gonna get Christian Cage against Darby Allin. We had the Britt interview, and then we had an Eddie Kingston promo package, and then we had Johnny I Don't Know My Name TV come out and take on Orange Cassidy for the international title. Come on, I mean Johnny Nitro, Johnny Morrison, Johnny Mundo, Johnny Impact, Johnny Johnny Dynamite,
yeah,
Johnny TV. Now that he's part of QTV, I'm tired.
Johnny Game Changer.
Yeah, I'm just tired of the man. Hey, just give me the man. Just be Johnny or something. Like, quit. I mean,
here in AEW, he's just known as Johnny TV, Johnny Television.
Well, he was originally Johnny Dynamite before he joined QTV.
Well, right. But in this iteration of, you're right. But
so Orange Cassidy won. The BCC came down. They looked like they were going to jump in the ring. Oh, well, Will Yuto was on commentary. Will Yuto came down And Orange Cassidy got on the mic. It's like, why don't you hurry up and get down here? And well, you're just like, I'll get there when I want to. Which eventually brought out Claudio Castagnoli and John Moxley, and they kind of circled the ring as the Blackpool Combat Club does. But they didn't go ahead and decide to jump Orange Cassidy because they're like, we're kind of tired of doing it. Wheeler Yuta challenges Orange Cassidy for the international title. So that's the next match there. And then we get a video package about the Ring of Honor titles, all the people who've held the titles over the years in Ring of Honor. We get this package, which led us into the Aussie Open, beating some guys that I didn't even catch their name. Of course, Aussie Open winning there. And then we had the Saraya versus Sky Blue match. Saraya wins. Saraya will now be in the four-way dance. So now we have Shida as the AEW Women's Champion, Toni Storm, and Saraya. So we have two of the Outcasts in this match. So this should be really interesting on how that storyline plays out. It was Rampage. Rampage again, probably at the bottom of the barrel. You're looking at Rampage Dynamite and working your way up. So on to SmackDown, which was a really good show again. WWE brought it this week, coming out of SummerSlam. And so many times after pay-per-views or premium live events, they seem to drop the ball more than not. But again, this felt like a SmackDown that Vince didn't really have his hands in. There was a few things that tied up in the end here. But anyways, we had SmackDown. We got the opening match of Asuka versus Charlotte, which was a really good match. We got the back and forth. Charlotte seemed more natural in the ring than she has in a long, long time. Of course, that match didn't really last because Io Sky came down with Damage Control. Io Sky interfered, and Damage Control took out Asuka and Charlotte, and they celebrated in the ring. And it's really interesting to see Bayley and Io Sky and Dakota Kai, and they're all celebrating as Io Sky celebrates her women's championship. So, I mean, great opening to a show. I don't know, did you anything there? I know you're a Bayley fan, so.
Very much so, but I don't know. Like, it was what it was. It's like it did kind of find it weird that, I mean, it was a decent match between Asuka and Charlotte, but yet you're having the champion come out to be the one to drive, as opposed to, everyone chasing her. She's chasing the opponents. I'm like, why?
I think a lot of that was just to show that Damage Control is in control of the show and the women's division. So then we went into the AJ Styles versus Karrion Kross match, which hopefully this is over. This hasn't been booked very well. It really hasn't done anything for either of them. AJ beat Karrion Kross, which is like, to me, good and bad. I mean, hopefully it's over and we can move on to something else. Karrion Kross, I don't know what they're doing with Karrion Kross. Another guy they seem to kind of start going somewhere with, and then it just doesn't go. So
I don't know, just as big of an issue. One, the feud itself has been the.
Yeah.
But it's like, what are they doing with the OC overall? Also, it's like ever since Carl Anderson and
Luke Gallows
has come back, like they're kind of there in the background, but they're not really doing much.
Michin's gotten more time, hanging out with AJ than the rest of the OC. So
she's gotten the most time out of all of them.
But not really wrestling. She's had a few little spots here, but not much. She's mostly just a sidekick to AJ, which is, I'm like, I don't know. I'm hoping it's over. I'm hoping they'll get the OC back together, do something with them. Maybe they need to turn them all heel. Of course, I'm wondering where AJ's kid is. Is AJ's kid out of high school? Because we're getting into football season. I know AJ usually doesn't like to work SmackDowns when his son's playing football, and I'm like, I don't know what grade his son's in or if his son's done or where that all stands at this point in time. I'm not sure because it's interesting to see him on SmackDown. I hadn't thought about that. Anyways, that was that. And then we got a package for the 25 years of Edge. Next week's going to be the big 25 years Edge, and we're going to be in Toronto, Canada. This week we were in Canada. I forget where, Saskatoon or something. I don't know.
No, Calgary.
Calgary. Okay, we're in Bret Hart country. And we didn't get a Hart reference on WWE TV. Interesting. Anywho, Edge came out. We got a video package, and Edge came out, and Edge talked a big match and how he wants to do something special. And he talked about somebody he's never faced before and somebody that helped him get back into wrestling. And that was Sheamus, which was quite a surprise. And so he called out Sheamus, the Brawling Brutes. They all came down. Sheamus shared a story with Edge about he helped. Sheamus wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Edge. Edge wouldn't be here for Sheamus. Very respectful two buddies. I don't know if this is going to be somebody's going to do somebody dirty in this match. It's real interesting what they're going to do here. But we're going to get Edge versus Sheamus at next week's SmackDown in Toronto, Canada. And it should be a great match. So I don't know what the overall arcing storyline is here because it's kind of interesting on what they're doing. I don't know if this will be a one-off or if this is going to be a start of some feud or where it's going to go.
I'm thinking it's a one-off, but we'll have to find out.
Exactly. Then we got LA Knight beating Top Dollar. LA Knight still getting the pop. I think WWE's doing the right thing. They're not totally pushing him hardcore babyface. They're slowly letting it burn in, which is probably the right thing because he's over as a heel. And trying to transfer him, I think they got to do it just the right way. And feeding him to Top Dollar right now is, probably the best thing. Top Dollar is a losing dollar. Why he's still on my TV, I don't know. But hey, it is what it is. Then we got into the United States Championship. Now, early in the night, Theory had attacked Escobar. Escobar was in the back. They cut back and forth. Rey Mysterio was there. Eventually, they cleared Escobar to go out and wrestle. Escobar was making his way to the ring when Austin Theory attacked him again. Austin Theory got in the ring. He was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not going to be able to wrestle." Yada, yada. The medical team and the GM or the head of whatever. What's his name?
Adam Pearce.
Adam Pearce was out there. And I guess Escobar told Rey Mysterio to go take his place. Adam Pearce agreed. And Rey Mysterio then became the challenger. After Rey Mysterio got injured and lost to Escobar. So Escobar will get the title match. Now Rey Mysterio is getting the title match in place of an injured Escobar, which Rey Mysterio won and became the United States champion. Which I'm so like the only conclusion I can get from this, because I'm like, I guess they want to move something on with Theory. Theory will get the title back. Maybe I'm assuming something's going to come down the line. The only thing that makes sense to me, what has been building here, is you're going to have student turn on teacher. I think Santos Escobar is going to turn on Rey Mysterio now. I know he gave him permission to go in the title, and they're happy, but I think that was his match, and I think that's what's going to be the catalyst that he's going to turn on Rey Mysterio. But I don't know if, like, in their feud, somehow Austin Theory gets the title back, or if they're just going to move Austin Theory on to something new. It was kind of a shocking one-off, unless there's something we don't know about Theory. He's going to go away. Is he injured? I don't know. This was really kind of not what I predicted. The only thing I can get out of this is that Rey Mysterio and Escobar are where we're heading. And that's kind of the feel I'm getting. Which is sad, because he just started the LWO.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's an Escobar turn, both eventually taking the U.S. title and the LWO.
Yeah. Well, that's assuming. That's where I would assume it would eventually go, but I don't know. It just kind of felt, I don't know.
I forgot what interview I was watching, but apparently when Escobar first came into the company, came into NXT, he wanted to bring back the LWO back then.
Yeah.
And Triple H was like, no, we want... if you want your own group, not a problem. That's how El Legado de Fantasma, whatever, happened.
Yeah.
But the fact that he eventually got to be a part of the LWO, it just would not surprise me that if he eventually takes it over and with the U.S. title.
Well, and is Selena Vega going to leave, or is she still going to be a part of that? And is she going to go back heel? I mean, where does she fall in this? Because she's part of the LWO.
Right.
So
we'll see.
So we got a new U.S. champion, Rey Mysterio, right now, so we'll see how that plays out. And then the long-awaited week, what we've all waited all week to find out, we get Roman Reigns in the ring. They start talking about Jimmy. Jimmy comes out of nowhere and basically tells Roman, "I'm not here for you. I didn't do it for you." And then Jay comes down and asks Jimmy, "Why'd you do it?" And I kind of got real close. I know in my rant, I was hinting at different ideas, and this was kind of like, it could be this. I don't know if I got every detail necessarily like on the point, but I did say, well, what if Jimmy or Jay were to be like Roman? He takes the tribal chief and get the egotistic and everything. So what did Jimmy say? Jimmy said, "I did it to save us, to save you from becoming him," and then had some unchoice words for Roman. And so Jimmy kind of had, or Jay had issues with that, went back and forth. Jimmy eventually walked out of the ring, and Jay, I think, super kicked Roman, and then Solo tried to attack him, and then Jimmy got out of that, and then Roman got back in. It looked like he was going to hit Jimmy, and then he was going to hit Jay. Sorry, Jay was in the ring alone. Jimmy was walking up the aisle. Anyways, Jay was fighting off Solo Sikoa, and then he got Roman, and you kept thinking that Jimmy was going to come back and save his brother, but no, Jimmy didn't do that. Jay was able to fight himself off. He knocked down both Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns, looking like the badass. And so then he slid out of the ring, and then he called his brother back. He called Jimmy. He's like, come here, come here, come here. He got Jimmy all excited to come down, and then pop, super kick right to his mug. I mean, just straight up knocked him down. And then Jimmy declared himself no longer a part of the Bloodline, no longer part of SmackDown, no longer part of WWE, and he quit. He walked out through the crowd in his black top jacket, his one earring cross, and the one ear, kind of a Shawn Michaels-esque look to him. There was a slight homage I felt to HBK in that moment, and HBK Marty Jannetty Rocker split. Not overly like exactly the same, but just kind of an homage to those things. And he quit, and so that changes the whole game. I don't know what's going to happen. Every
Which was probably the point of the segment.
Every news outlet and everything, I guess, not only has Jay quit, but Jay has they have moved Jay's name from the active roster to the alumni roster on WWE.com. So, Jay's quit, and this is the storyline we're going to go with. There's also rumors and speculation about Rikishi somewhere being involved because things Rikishi was posting on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it these days. So, SmackDown ends in a hot moment with Jay walking out, quitting. I mean, there was like a Shawn Michaels, almost a CM Punk whole vibe to Jay walking out. So
fair comparison.
That was SmackDown.
The only thing I didn't understand, like storyline-wise, storyline beat, makes perfect sense. The people who believe he actually quit, though, like it's a story. How the hell do you cover? I'm not talking about these podcasters and wrestling media. How the hell do you watch wrestling for this long and not figure that out?
Well, I don't know.
Because the people who actually quit don't get to do it on TV. Sasha Banks and Trinity
walked out, but they didn't.
Exactly.
CM Punk kind of had it. He quit. He was contract with it, but he also resigned on the same day until we found out later. There was somebody who quit.
On live TV.
Well, I mean, if we want to go back to WCW and talk about a person named Dustin Runnels, he kind of quit a gimmick and kind of went away.
That's right.
I think there was somebody else. I just forget who. But anywho.
But not to my memory, not in WWE.
Maybe not in WWE. I'd have to really look that up. I don't know. But anywho. No, I know he hasn't really quit. This is a storyline. I guess this is to extend the storyline. Because I don't know what they're going to do with any of this. That leaves Jimmy in an interesting place. Solo Sikoa and Roman. Roman's supposed to be going away for some time. He's kayfabed or supposedly injured. We don't know. So it leaves a lot of interesting pieces there. And it seems like there's talks about Rikishi being involved in there. So who knows? So we've covered everything. Now we'll get to the night show. Saturday night, and Saturday night's the night. We got Collision, which was a very good show. I don't know. I think SmackDown and Raw were kind of better than Collision. Collision just, I mean, they had some really good matches, but I don't think Collision really led a whole lot of places. Well, the ending of Collision really did set up something, hopefully. So anyways, we opened Collision with Ricky Starks in an interview with Tony Schiavone about why he beat up Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. He still had Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's belt. And he sold his whole story there, and so he blamed it on Punk, said it's Punk's blood's there. So I don't know what they're going to do with Ricky Starks, where they're going with him.
Well, allegedly, he's starting a war with CM Punk.
Well,
everybody wants to mess with CM Punk now.
Real world champion, I guess. I guess that's, yeah. I don't know. After that, we saw the Acclaim return to action against the Iron Savages. So,
formerly known as Bear Country, but yes.
Okay. Anywho, the Acclaim win. They cut a small promo afterwards. They're still hitting on daddy ass and sister me daddy stuff. So I don't know what we're gonna get with Billy Gunn. rumors, speculation that Billy Gunn is done with AEW and maybe going back to WWE to work something else. Don't know what the truth behind that is, but I don't know.
The fact that they're carrying his boots around tells me it's a storyline, at least for a little bit.
I'm assuming it's a storyline for now, but I mean, I don't get what it's leading to. They're not really feuding with anybody to bring, unless we're going to see Daddy Ass turn on him, which I don't know. I don't know. Then we got the Mercedes Martinez and Diamante versus Chris Statlander and Will Nightingale. Mm-hmm. And Martinez and Diamante won. Good match. Don't know what else to say.
Not much to say. Like I said, it was a good match. I mean, I love all four wrestlers. Probably because I've watched Mercedes Martinez since her time in Shimmer. So I've gotten to see, more of her career than just your average AEW fan.
Then we got the Samoa Joe squash match over a former Gregory Helms guy and Andrew Everett, former tag team partner to Trevor Lee, who is now better known as Cameron Grimes.
I could not when I made that comment in our Facebook group, I could not remember his name.
Yeah, that's why I was confused, because I'm like, Cameron Grimes is not Andrew Everett. I'm like, no, they're different people. Because I thought you were trying to say they were the same people, but yeah.
No, I'm saying he used to tag with Cameron Grimes. I just couldn't remember
Trevor
his name was Trevor Lee.
Andrew Everett used to be a tag team that was managed by Gregory Helms, or was it Shane Helms? I forget what they called. No, it was good. And Impact. I forget.
Actually, I don't remember either, to be honest.
I know he brought them together.
He brought them together as a tag team.
Yeah.
And he led them in TNA for a while.
But yeah, Andrew Everett didn't stand a chance. Joe took him out quite quickly.
No, not at all.
And then
you knew the moment that Samoa Joe was his opponent, you knew it was over.
And Joe, looking the badass, of course, gets on the mic, shoots another badass promo about, "Hey Punk, when are we gonna do this?" So we got that. And then we got the Luchasaurus, Christian Cage and Luchasaurus, blah, 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 doing their thing. I think that's when Darby Allin, I think this is when the Darby Allin confronted them. No, because that was after it. Because then, long time no see, Arn Anderson comes down with Brock Anderson and gets in the match.
Yeah.
We had Brock versus Luchasaurus, which Luchasaurus destroyed Brock Anderson, and then that's when Darby Allin came down and saved the day. Mm-hmm. And then we got a segment with Powerhouse Hobbs and the Book of Hobbs, and he wanted to write this chapter of redemption and called out Miro. Of course, before Miro could get in the ring, he was attacked by QTV and then thrown in by Hobbs, and the Hobbs took him down. So, I guess we're going to get a feud against Powerhouse Hobbs and Miro, so we're going to give Miro something to do finally.
I'll get something for Hobbs to do as well, because he's been kind of floundering since he's lost the the TNT title and the Owen Hart,
Yeah. And then we wind up with the best match of probably the whole week. I mean, this is a great match, from what I could see, because I couldn't watch because Hulu was off, but I did watch the thing. With the House of Black versus CMFTR, and that was a really good match. House of Black versus CM Punk and FTR. They went back and forth. It went great. House of Black, of course, won with interference from
Samoa Joe.
I was talking about Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe took out CM Punk and choked him out because he wanted his answer, but it was not just that. It was, what's her name? What's her name from House of Black?
Oh, Julia Hart.
Julia Hart helped distract and get Brody King the pin. So that was a big thing. But yes, Samoa Joe came down and decided to make Punk or get a Punk an answer or push Punk to answer by choking out Punk. So, and that was.
And I believe they're angling that for All Out.
Are they? I think that's. Well, I guess in Chicago you want Punk there, but I think that's. Unless you're doing a soft brand split on your pay-per-views, and then that's just, I don't know. I would be doing Punk and Joe in Wembley for 90,000 plus people, as they're supposedly saying. Save it for All Out, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it is Chicago, so I get you want Punk there, but I don't know. Anyways, that was the shows. Everything was good. I think WWE did a little better than AEW this week. Of course, Collision for AEW brought it again. Why we're seeing a decline in Dynamite with AEW, which has been their main show, and now Collision being hot. I mean, is it a CM Punk thing? I don't know, but
it might be I don't want to say a booking decision, but I mean a booking philosophy. Because it almost seems like Dynamite's the wrestling show, where you have Collision as the sports entertainment. We got really good interviews. We got good, at least a hot main event, if not the whole show. And if you look at the physical presentation, even as far as like the big Tron, I mean, like they both have the Trons, but I don't know, just set up a little bit differently. That it looks like, to me, it feels like Collision's got a little bit more glitz to it.
Well, Collision's got a better opening. I think Collision's got the best opening out of all wrestling. I mean, they get you hyped with that Elton John song. I can't beat it. The bad part is you throw a Rampage in the middle of it and you're just kind of like, Anywho. So, news or rumors. Jey Uso's left WWE. They have literally moved him off the WWE roster page to the alumni page. He is done. Who knows what's going to happen here? I'm like, okay, they're really going to sell this storyline. And it is a storyline. If you really believe Jimmy's left. There's rumors that Jimmy is leaving WWE because his contract expires next month. And he's headed to AEW.
I've seen people Photoshop that BS.
I'm like, dude, what? I mean, really? Are we buying into this? Like, no, he's not leaving. I mean, if Jimmy left, I would buy it, and he'd probably go to Impact to join his wife. But Jay to leave? No. This is a great storyline that we're building. Everybody was upset. I mean, the world was pissed off. Oh, Jimmy turned on Jay. That's jumping the shark. That's just stupid. Why would you do that? Why would Jimmy join back the Bloodline? And yes, that could have been a scenario, but like I said in my rants, there were several different ways you could go, and I wasn't surprised where we went. But I'm just like, everybody was so mad coming out of SummerSlam that Jimmy betrayed Jay, and nobody was letting that breathe. They're really finding out why, and then we get to find out why, and now everybody's like, "Oh, Jay's quitting. Jay's quitting." I'm just like, I'm sorry, you know what? We have to give it to Triple H. We have to give it to WWE. If people are buying this crap as real, if people are pissed that Jimmy betrayed Jay, and now that Jay's quit and people are buying this real, then WWE's doing something right. I mean, bottom line. Whether you like WWE, whether you don't like WWE, whether you think Vince is in control or Vince isn't in control, if you want to say this is some Vince has got his hands, deep into this, whatever. They're doing something right. Bottom line, they've got the whole world convinced that Jey Uso has actually quit. So far that there's even rumors that he's going to go to AEW. I mean, my mind is blown.
I've seen so many Photoshopped photos of Joshua Fatu, AEW. Like, really?
Yeah. No, and of course, now what I'm seeing and what we're getting is there's also supposedly Rikishi tweeted out some things. There was supposedly a tweet that came out from some con that he was at, some night something con, where he said something about Payback. So there's rumors that Rikishi's going to be at Payback, but I don't even know if we're going to see any of the Bloodline at Payback. Roman's supposed to go away. We're not seeing anybody really challenging Roman at this time, and Jay's quit, so I mean, Jimmy's not really got a dance partner unless Jimmy's going to go against Solo, but I don't really see that being at a Payback. I don't know if they really need to build any of that. What they could do right now is Roman could go and Jimmy could go and everybody could go start looking for Jay to bring him back. So you could have both quote-unquote camps going to try to get Jay back, and you build that storyline that can go beyond Payback, and you could have Daddy Kishi getting involved. Yes, I think we're definitely going to see Rikishi on TV in a fatherly trying to rebond the boys or something. Maybe Rikishi will come and chew out Jimmy for whatever he did, and then Rikishi's in the ring and gets attacked by Roman, which will eventually bring Jay back or something. I think that might be a really good catalyst for a little bit longer storyline, as if Roman takes out Rikishi. Of course, the story is supposed to be Jimmy versus Jay. I don't know how we get there now. If we go there, but I mean, Jay did kick his. I don't know. They really opened this bag. People were so mad, like, this is going backwards in the storyline. This is all crap. And now we've got a whole new component to the storyline. And like I said before, I'm not. Of course, I've heard the rumors that we're going to get a Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa versus Jimmy Uso versus Jay Uso four-way dance, which I'm like,
no thanks.
Yes, you could build there, but I don't think it does anything. Like, I don't, like
TV match at most.
It's a Roman win, period. Because the story is this. Like, I don't get how people are not following the story. Like, Sami Zayn didn't do it. And it wasn't Sami Zayn's time. And they built Sami great. And it would have been a great story if they would have let Sami do it. But it wasn't Sami. It wasn't Jay. They've told you what the storyline is. And I don't get how people are missing this thing. That the whole thing is Roman had the empire built around him. Roman had the tribe. Roman had everything to him. How do you beat Roman? You've got to break all the pieces away from Roman. So the fact of the matter is that Roman is going to go to WrestleMania. Roman is not going to have Solo, not going to have Jay, not going to have Jimmy. He may have his wise men, but it's the fact the story is the fall of the Roman Empire. I mean, that's the story you're looking at. Cody will finally overcome Roman at WrestleMania in Philadelphia. That's where Cody will get the WWE Championship that his daddy never won. He's going to do it. That's the story they've told you, and it's the story they sealed. They sealed this story at SummerSlam. Whether Brock Lesnar was supposed to shake and praise Cody like that, whether that was actually supposed to happen, or whether Brock shoot on himself, whatever you want to believe, whether Triple H and all them want to go, oh, we didn't know Brock was going to do that. Brock just did that on his own. Cody was sealed. They told you, Cody's our man. Cody is the guy. So what has to happen? You got to take Roman to the top of his mountain. He's got to be standing there like the captain on the ship. And I keep saying this. It's when Roman falls. He's going to go down with the ship. He's going to go crumbling down, and that's when you get the thing. But you got to get all these other pieces away from him. So we still have the fallout between Roman and Solo. We've seen the little pieces, and eventually Solo is going to turn on Roman. How that all works out, I don't know. Will we see a Jimmy versus Jay match? Now, the Usos have said they want to fight each other. There was a lot of slight homage to a Marty Jannetty, Shawn Michaels, Rocker breakup there. It was very little. I'm not saying it was like a huge detail, but there were just small little details that you could say, hey, they were paying a little homage or trying to tell this storyline. So it's interesting to see. Are they going to face one another? I don't know. You got Jay quitting, so that really throws a wrench in it, because I don't know. You can't have him quit for a week. You can't have him quit for, if you're going to go this storyline, you really got to make it. And I think it's going to be one of these things that either Roman's going to go looking for Jay and Jimmy's going to go looking for Jay, or Jimmy's just going to go be looking for Jay, or Jimmy's going to get confronted by his dad to be like, go fix it. Or maybe, Jimmy's trying and gets his dad, and his dad's trying to get, Rikishi's trying to get Jay to come back, and then Roman attacks Rikishi. I think that may be your main angle to get Jay to come back. Is if you attack the father, the son's got to stand up for the father. This may also be the catalyst that breaks Solo away, because, that's daddy. This Solo stand with the tribal chief, or does he stand behind his father? So, right. I think, Rikishi probably going to be there. We're probably going to see something interesting, so it should be really, really good from there. You got any news or rumors or anything you've heard?
No, I've been pretty slow on the news end. It's been pretty much just the shows.
Yeah. AEW supposedly sold out more tickets than there were for WrestleMania 3. And yes, we have a good main event. We have the MJF versus Adam Cole match. Now we have the FTR versus Young Bucks for the AEW tag titles. We have the women's title match there. But I still don't know if this card's living up to the expectations. And that's the only bad thing. I'm still kind of like, if you do Joe and Punk at All In, great. But then I'm like, what do you do for All Out? I don't know how Tony Khan's going to pull this off back-to-back pay-per-views in less than a week and make sense.
And on top of that, it's like, then you have the TV shows in between that they're trying to make special, like with Fight for the Fallen. And somewhere around there, it's supposed to be Fyter Fest, isn't it?
I thought Fyter Fest was in November. I thought that was the next big pay-per-view.
It might be. I
think that's the next.
Vaguely read something, but I didn't really see what months.
But I think Fyter Fest is in November, when their next big pay-per-view event is after All Out. I think that's the next.
Fyter Fest is usually a TV special.
Is it? Okay, maybe it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Fyter Fest is after. Fight for the Fallen's next week. I know that, and they've got a lot of great matches there, and I'm just like, okay. And they got some good matches on Collision. They got a lot of stuff building, but I'm like, where's your all out? Or your all in? Hey, where's your all in? I go, you've given me 3 for sure matches, but I'm like, you're selling out Wembley. You're going to London, which hasn't really had this caliber of an event there in a long, long, long time. I go, you're not MJF, Adam Cole, great. FTR versus Young Bucks, great. The women's match, I'm kind of like, it's a 4-way. It just seems kind of thrown together. Like, I'm sure
it is a little thrown together, but I mean, the fact that they have Saraya in there, I think helps. Tony Storm, etc. Those who that would be considered, well, obviously Saraya would be hometown, but or home country.
Yeah, that's why I hadn't even thought about Saraya being in there. Tony Storm is from Australia, so. And Britt Baker.
But she's going to get a lot of love there. Britt Baker being AEW Women's poster child.
Yeah.
So obviously that's a major draw.
I don't feel it's like it's the best match. I get it for the sake of names. Like it's putting everybody they can in this match to get as many names on the card. But I'm like, I don't know if you needed that many people. I mean, you could have done, if you wanted to pop, you probably could have had Saraya versus Shida in that match. Of course, Tony Storm. But anywho, I think there's a lot of other things that could have gone there. But then again, I'm like, where's your undercard? I don't see any undercard. Like, you have some title matches, but I'm still have the TNT title kind of floating. I don't know what they're doing with that. The TBS title, don't know what they're going to do with that. And then what else are you going to fill this card with to make it what it is? And, of course, we have heard Grado versus Jeff Jarrett still looking like it's going to happen at all. And, of course, I'm more pissed off what's happening next week at Fight for the Fallen, as we're getting a Jeff Jarrett versus Jeff Hardy Texas Chainsaw match. And I go,
the Jeff versus Jeff match we never needed.
Why? Jeff's going to kill himself. Either Jeff.
Which one?
Either Jeff might kill himself in this match. I'm like, the way they, if I don't know, if you watch Collision, the way they just kind of scooped it on there real quick, like they didn't really they started going over all the cards for next week, and then all in, but they just kind of threw it out there real quick, like they just kind of Jeff Hardy versus Jeff Jarrett in the Texas Chainsaw match, and then all in, and you're like, wait, hold up, what, and why, why would you have a Texas Chainsaw match versus Jeff Hardy and Jeff Jarrett? You give me nothing. Don't
even understand the catalyst for it.
How did we even get here? If you have a stipulation match, there needs to be a pretty good damn reason. And it's in Nashville, so I get Jarrett being in Nashville, but I don't get Jeff Hardy needing to be the opponent in Nashville. I'm going,
it's not an open challenge. I mean, there's it's.
And it's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Texas Chainsaw match in Nashville between Jeff Jarrett, who's Nashville, and Jeff Hardy, who's North Carolina. And it's just okay, why wasn't a Nashville hot chicken fight or a Tennessee? I'm just confused. So you're in Nashville, Tennessee. You're nowhere in Texas. You're several hours away from Texas. So that's a Texas Chainsaw match. And I'm like, why has it got to be a Texas Chainsaw match? Why does this just sound bad on paper, period? And I'm like, and why would you choose Jeff Jarrett and Jeff Hardy? I mean, if you want Jeff Jarrett on the card for the Nashville Pop, great. But why a gimmick match? And why him against Jeff Hardy? These are two of your grizzled veterans that are just, there was nobody better.
I have more faith in Jarrett than I do Hardy.
And that's sad that Jeff Jarrett might deliver better than Jeff Hardy. I'm like, that's just sad. I'm just oh, Jeff's going to kill himself. Hardy's going to go. I just this is just, no, why? I'm like, I want to know how and who came up with this, because whoever and however they came up with this really needs to be taken out. Just no. And if this is a Tony,
put out of the misery.
This is a Tony Khan. This isn't if this is Tony Khan's booking, then I'm just okay, Tony, you do not help your case. At least with me, you do not help your case, because there should be no reason that Jeff Jarrett and Jeff Hardy are in the ring solo together, period, in some weird gimmick match, which we don't even know what it is. And we're only getting a week's advertisement on it. Like, we don't even know what this is. I'm just like, chainsaws. You know, my thing is like, there's just going to be fake chainsaws around the ring. Are we going to, like, is somebody's arms going to get fucking fake cut off? You know, like, is this how they're going to take out Saddam Singh? Is he going to come down and get stabbed with the chainsaw and then he's going to be dead and go away? Well, what are you going to do with chainsaws?
If
you have chainsaws in the match, you not assume they're going to be used. If you have a match
you
with
would think
chainsaws,
so.
Okay, so you're assuming somebody has to be attacked with a chainsaw.
They're going to tease it at least. I don't know.
Oh, I know that, but I'm just like, how do you tease?
I mean, it's kind of like Drew McIntyre with his sword. What are you really going to do with it, realistically speaking?
But at least WWE hasn't had a match with the sword involved. You know, like he's going to, he's cut the ropes, but, it's not like they actually did a whole match around Drew McIntyre's sword. It's not like they put him and Sheamus in there for the Highlander sword match or something,
Oh, jeez. Shillelagh versus sword.
There you go. But a Texas chainsaw match, I'm just like going, what in the world is this? I mean, I'm like, is somebody going to get hung by hooks and stuff? I mean, what? I'm just like,
Okay, they said Texas chainsaw. They didn't say saw.
No, but in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's out in a barn where they have the hooks. He did hook them, he did hook them up to drain, so I'm like, I'm like, because it's a Texas Chainsaw, so I'm assuming there's something to do with the movie, and I don't think there's like a new movie of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre coming out, but I'm like,
I haven't heard anything about it.
So it's not like a gimmick match, like it's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre to promote the movie type of thing, so I'm like going,
right.
If you're telling me Texas Chainsaw match, I'm assuming you're connecting it to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. If you're talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I'm going, well, this is kind of the expectation.
Well, this match is going to be brutal for all the wrong reasons.
I'm afraid somebody's going to die. This is like, Jeff Hardy and Jeff Jarrett. I'm like, either somebody's going to jump from really high heights, somebody's going to get hung on a meat hook. Saddam Singh's going to get hit with the chainsaw and get his hair cut off. I don't know. Something weird's going to happen.
It's going to be cringe.
Yes. And I'm just like, it's not something I needed. I don't know who decided we needed this. And why these two guys? Why couldn't you do Jack Perry and a Texas Chainsaw against RVD? At least it'd be, they're feuding. Or, you could give Taz the opportunity in a non-wrestling match to have a Texas, just... But,
Lord.
So, I don't know.
I get it. Anything would be better than what we're going to get.
It just, what was the last time you seen Jeff Hardy and Jeff Jarrett have anything to do with one another?
Wasn't there a tag match somewhat recently?
Was there? I don't know. I didn't even know the Hardys.
Didn't say it was good. I just no faith, and I understand.
I wish I had more faith. I wish I had anything. I mean, it's just, let's see here. Is there anything else out here in the world of professional wrestling? We don't know what Kenny Omega is doing at all, and supposedly Ibushi is supposed to come back.
Kota Ibushi?
Yeah, Kota Ibushi is supposed to come back and help out. He's supposed to see. Let's see if I can find this now. Oh, it might be him. It might be. The rumor match coming from Meltzer was at All In. It'll be Kenny Omega, Adam Page, and Kota Ibushi against Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Takeshita, whatever his name is. So that's a rumor match at All In, which I'm like, I guess there's the big name popping, Kota Ibushi, but I'm like, nah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, he's got to deliver.
Even though he hasn't exactly gotten over in America yet, in Japan, in Europe, pretty much basically everywhere else.
Hopefully they bring it over there. I mean, it's just like the New Japan guys that come over. Not many of them to me have been like what I've been told or what the parts I've seen of like, okay, so I guess that's how you get Jay White and Robinson and Takeshita and Cole or Omega and Page and all these people on the card. But I'm like,
I feel like a TV match though, as opposed to a supercard match.
I feel Tony Khan's going to load up all in with all these type of 6-man matches, 3-way dances, 4-way dances, just matches to throw matches up there just for,
see what sticks.
Sakes, you know. I'm sure we're probably going to get the Hardy Boys versus Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal and the Lucha Boys and the Ass Boys and who knows what else, you know.
Oh, God.
I just, there's too many things that I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, that's the rumored plans for Kenny Omega, and then Kenny Omega will face Takeshita in a one-on-one match at All Out, was the supposed rumors going into that. So
that would at least make sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the direction they're going. We also will find out, I guess, at the Fight for the Fallen, or no, he didn't say next week. Did he say 2 weeks? I forgot when Chris Jericho said he will give I think it's next week. He's supposed to give the answer to Don Callis about joining the Don Callis family. Of course, JAS is gone, and I don't know how you make the storyline work. Does Jericho join the Don Callis family, you think, or
if he does, he has to be the centerpiece. Because if he's not the centerpiece, what do they really do with him?
No, and I understand.
I mean, at least from a prestige perspective, not necessarily from a week-to-week perspective.
I don't know. I don't think he's going to join. But again, I don't know how that. After everybody walked out of on a JAS, I mean, is he going to go reform JAS? Is he going to go make it right? I did kind of over Jericho and factions that too. You know, it's like, okay, Jericho can go do something else. Jericho could go away for a while.
Right now, I'm just here for the ride. Yeah. I'm not really trying to speculate too much on it. Whatever happens, happens.
So in other rumors, there's a rumor that Cody and was it the Miz may have a go at it, and that'll bring Maurice and Brandy Rhodes into the picture. Of course, Brandy Rhodes has come out and says she has no desire to return to the ring. She is done, and that is it. But yeah, there was speculations and rumors that a Miz Cody Rhodes program, because we really haven't got an answer on that. We know Seth Rollins looks like he's going to face Nakamura at Payback. That's the next style, but we didn't really get anything where Cody is going to go next. The Miz is kind of tied up with LA Knight, but we don't know how long that's going to go. But yeah, we didn't really get anything for what's next with Cody. So I don't know what you do with Cody right now. That's the hard part.
The next thing you're gonna get with Cody is the whoa.
Some people hate that. I don't get it. I'm like,
it's whatever gets over. It's the smallest, simplest stuff sometimes, but if it gets over with the audience, it winds up printing money somehow.
Okay, there is a rumor about Cody Rhodes returning, or his next feud could possibly be, right now the talks are, against Logan Paul.
I can see it.
Which I would feel would probably be November, because I think if we're going back, I think the WWE has to go back to Saudi in November. I think that's, at least the rumor speculation, there'll be a Saudi show. So I could see a Logan Paul, Cody Rhodes match in Saudi. I don't know about Payback. I don't know if you need Cody at Payback. I think maybe you need to let Seth Rollins be the main event, the big picture. I think if you build Nakamura and Seth Rollins going into Payback and let them be the spotlighted match, you don't need Reigns, you don't need Cody right now. I think you'd be better off, because it will at least bring them up a little more. Not that there's anything
them a little bit breather.
Not that there's anything wrong with Seth Rollins, or Seth Rollins doesn't bring magic. I just think that Roman Reigns' storyline with Bloodline would overshine, and the Cody right now would overshine whatever they would do. And I think if you left them both off the card, you at least give Seth Rollins and Nakamura a chance to really be a spotlighted match. Even though Seth Rollins is bringing it, Seth Rollins had a great SummerSlam match. Someone has said him and Finn Balor had the best match of the night. So it's interesting. But right now, Cody doesn't have anything, which is kind of fine, because, I mean, you got to get Cody through 4 months. That's the big thing. You got to get Cody through 4 months, to get him into Royal Rumble season, and that's the big key, because Cody can't lose. I mean, I don't know. Do you buy that Brock Lesnar went off script and this was just a Brock Lesnar thing, since it came from Hunter at the post show,
the little press conference?
Yeah. I mean, he said
I mean, is it possible? Yes, but the odds are
it wouldn't make
some kind of gratitude, some kind of way to put him over was planned, whether that was that specifically or not. I think it just fed into Paul Levesque's narrative to say Brock did that on his own.
It's just confusing, because I'm like, and here's the only thing I can say. I can see Brock doing it, but I'm like, I don't see why it would be done, because it so made Cody. Like, that moment made Cody. Like, that. And then Brock might be smarter. I mean, Brock is smart, but so he may have been like, if I do this, this is really going to shoot him up. But here's something I think people don't realize, and maybe why Brock may have done this on his own accord, I don't know. The comparison between Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes. Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes both came into WWE. They both tried to do what they did. Now, Brock Lesnar had a better first run in WWE. He got to be champion and everything. But when he got fed up with his creative or the direction he was going is part of what made him leave, and he wanted to go do other things. Cody left WWE because he got fed up with his creative. So both these men at different times in their career left WWE. Brock Lesnar went out there and played for the Vikings briefly, didn't work out, went off and found UFC, became a beast in UFC, won the World Heavyweight Champion in UFC, and then came back to WWE and was bigger, moreover, and just destroyed everything in his path. The similarity is Cody left, made his name bigger, went and opened a whole other company, and then came back to being a bigger star. So there are sure some similarities that I could see Brock Lesnar respecting Cody, going, hey, you did like I did. That there's a quite kind of a brotherhood where he went off to do his own thing, to make his name, and then came back to dominate WWE, which Cody is now on that path. So I could kind of see why Brock may have been like giving him the rub or the passing of the torch, like, hey, I did it, now you can do it, now here, take up the mantle. So I get it. I don't know if it was all that Paul Triple H Levesque says, that it was just, oh, Brock Lesnar went off script. I'm like, maybe they told him to do something like shake his hand, and then he went a little more. But I'm just like, the way Cody was made in that moment, like, that stopped everybody, and everybody talked about it. Everybody was like, holy crap, we saw something we never saw. Brock Lesnar, like, you know. So I'm like, yeah, you can't tell me it was all fake. One more bit of news and rumors. So the second quarter of financial reports came out for WWE, and the Endeavor WWE board of directors for the new forming of TKO, which is going to be the head of the company, the name of whatever is going to lead WWE and UFC, which is still it's under the Endeavor umbrella, but it's going to be WWE and UFC are going to be merged under a company or a business, whatever, called TKO. And so the TKO board of directors have been announced. It's 5 board of directors from Endeavor, and then Vince McMahon, Nick Khan, and then the 2 stooges for Vince McMahon were named board of directors. And Paul Triple H Levesque is no longer on the board of directors, or left off the board of directors in this announcement. So a new piece in the rumor mill. What's that mean? I don't know. It may not mean anything right now. I think Triple H is. I know a lot of people always say, "Oh no, Vince McMahon's still running creative." I'm like, I don't think Vince has had anything to do with creative at least this week and part of the week before and SummerSlam. I don't think Vince. I think Vince is. It doesn't mean Vince won't be back. Doesn't mean Vince isn't making small changes. But I really felt like this week, if not in SummerSlam, we're pretty much controlled by Paul Levesque. I don't feel like we had the biggest fear of Vince McMahon being involved. Not saying, I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, Vince McMahon's still in charge." You're one of those naysayers that think it's Triple H. I just felt like it was more a Triple H than a Vince McMahon. I'm sure Vince will be back. I'm sure Vince will do something to piss us all off. I mean, granted, maybe Vince will finally learn. I mean, after back surgery, Vince is not in good shape. He had some serious spinal surgery, and the other legal stuff he still has going on. I don't know. You know, maybe Vince will finally wake up and realize it's just time to step back and let Triple H run the show. Who knows? It's all
you have to
speculation.
do is look in the last few years when Vince had full control and look at what's happening now. The proof is in the pudding that Vince is not running the show, at least in full capacity.
No.
Whether he has any input or not, whatever.
No, because if
don't care, don't know.
If Vince was in full control right now, we'd have Omos wearing some type of title belt. And we got another segment with the continuation I forgot to mention with Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. So, yeah. This is getting interesting. Anyways, I don't have much more to say. Is there anything you'd like to add into our discussion today?
I think we've pretty much covered everything for the week.
Yes. It's definitely been an interesting week. Again, this is our third episode of the weekly roundup. We've covered everything that's gone on the weekly shows. We've discussed some of the news and stuff. So there's all that. There was my big time rant talking about the bloodline. It's already up on our YouTube channel. I've already recorded a second program, which is all about the devil in the details, where I'm going to talk about MJF and what I think is going to happen. I throw in there what could possibly happen with maybe MJF and Adam Cole winning the Ring of Honor titles. And maybe we get a new AEW champion at All In to build to a future match, Rebound, maybe, who knows. Anyways, you might want to check that out once that gets up. We get this program up. It is, Saturday night us recording this, but there's no guarantee when this will get up. We get it up as quickly as we can get it edited and put out to y'all. We thank you for joining us. We appreciate you watching us through. Go ahead and, you're welcome to comment down below. This is an open forum. We love discussions. We love professional wrestling. We do ask you to be, respectful of one another. We don't mind debates. We don't mind you expressing your opinion. You don't have to agree with us on everything, but we still would ask you to be, respectful of one another out here. We're not trying to create fights, but we want to talk about wrestling. We would love to debate wrestling. If you think your opinion is different than ours and you want to put it in the comments, do so respectfully and we'll enjoy it. There's nothing wrong with that. We're not saying you got to think like us. But this is a forum where we love professional wrestling. We love talking about professional wrestling. We love having that conversation about professional wrestling. We want you to join that conversation, and you can do so in the comments below. Otherwise, if you haven't done since the beginning of the show, go ahead and hit that subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications. Give us a like. Make sure you like and share and do everything you can to get this program out to others so we can grow this channel. We will continue to bring new programs, more programs, hopefully, as we build and progress and move forward. With that being said, I thank you for joining us here tonight on the Value of Wrestling's Weekly Roundup. And like always, this is the Value of Wrestling, where we vow to put the value back in wrestling on the big time with my tag partner.
I'm Paulus Clarke.
And we thank you for joining us, and I wish you all a fair adieu, a good night, and a farewell.